Walker Reyes stood on the bridge of his small survey ship, the Obscura, eyes locked on the black void beyond his viewport. Ahead was the edge of human space, a zone marked by silence, fear, and a strange lack of detail on every galactic map. The stars near it seemed duller, the space quieter, like even the universe was holding its breath. He tapped the console beside him. The holographic star map flickered, showing a clear red line across Sector 9. The label read, UN mapped, Aintree forbidden, no data. The rest of the galaxy was charted in detail. Trade routes, mining stations, war zones. But human space, nothing. Not even a warning beacon, just a void on the map. Walker had always been curious. He made his living mapping uncharted stars. While others feared the unknown, he ran toward it. But human space was different. Since childhood, he'd heard stories spoken in whispers. Ships vanish in there. No one comes back. They say it's haunted, or worse. As a boy growing up on a dusty border colony, these tales had felt like bedtime legends. But now, standing on the edge, he felt the weight of those words. Oh, then came the signal. It was faint, barely a whisper, but it pinged his long-range scanner. He adjusted the frequency, narrowing it down. A probe, ancient and nearly torn apart, floated just outside the border. It was broadcasting a distress loop on an old human channel, one that hadn't been used in over 200 years. Walker launched a drone to retrieve it. When the probe's remains were brought aboard, he stared at the cracked hull. It was marked with Earth's insignia, a faded blue globe and wings beneath it. It shouldn't have been here. No probe from Earth had left the system in centuries. Humanity had gone silent long ago, and nobody knew why. He carefully extracted the data core. Most of it was corrupted, but one part remained, a broken map fragment. It displayed a city, fully intact, inside human space. Walker's pulse quickened. This wasn't just a signal, it was a message, an invitation, or a warning. He leaned back in his seat and stared out the window. The edge of the forbidden zone loomed large. Back at Galactic Union Command, across the stars, a red alert blinked on a dark screen. A synthetic voice echoed in a quiet, cold chamber. Unauthorized recovery from human border. Alert high, Inquisitor Silo Mar. In a room filled with shadows and silent observers, Director Silo Mar opened his eyes. Calm and cold, he whispered. So, someone finally found a piece. He stood, adjusted his dark coat, and tapped a single button on his wrist console. Send a shadow team. Find the ship. Delete everything. He paused. And make sure the pilot doesn't come back. Back in his ship, Walker watched the probe's flickering map again. He didn't know it yet, but crossing the line meant more than a discovery. It meant stepping into a place the rest of the galaxy had agreed, silently and completely, not to touch. And he was ready to break that silence. Walker stared at the broken probe's map projection again. The fragment floated in the air above his console, glowing faintly in blue. It showed a set of coordinates, deep inside human space. A blinking dot marked the center. No labels, no time stamps, just a location. He leaned in. Still active, he murmured. The ship's AI, a soft-voiced assistant named Lex, responded. The signal is weak but steady. The power source seems to be centuries old, but the transmission is recent, less than one galactic cycle. Walker felt a chill. That was impossible. No human ships had crossed this region in over 200 years. How could something still be broadcasting? He ran another scan. The energy signature from the map matched pre-collapse Earth technology, long obsolete. Yet it pulsed with life, as if waiting for someone to find it, someone like him. Walker backed up the data onto an encrypted drive and shut down all external transmissions. Whatever he'd found, it wasn't meant to be found. In a small station orbiting a quiet moon, far from the Union's eyes, he slipped into a hidden archive room. The shelves were full of restricted data chips, black market records, and files banned by the Galactic Union. He'd dealt with shady traders before. This time he needed old records, ones purged from public databases. An old trader named Vec met him there. Vec was a tall, insect-like being with a mechanical jaw and glowing eyes. "You're hunting ghosts," Vec clicked, handing over a dusty storage chip. "Everyone knows to leave that place alone." Walker frowned. "Everyone knows, but no one says why." "Exactly," Vec said with a hiss. "Some truths are heavy. Too heavy. That place, it isn't just empty. It's quiet because something made it quiet." Back aboard the Obscura, Walker inserted the chip. Ancient files blinked to life. They showed censored reports, whispers of massive energy surges, unknown life forms, and something labeled the Fold. The details were missing, pages blanked out, timelines cut short, but the fear behind the words was clear. He scrolled until he reached a visual, an image of a city. Not ruins, a glowing, powered, untouched human city floating inside the Forbidden Zone. His eyes widened. It matched the coordinates from the probe. Just then, his ship's console lit up with a warning. "External scan detected. Tracing source, high energy ping. Galactic Intelligence Bureau." Walker's stomach dropped. They had found him. Far across space, Director Silo Mar stood in a glass room high above a sprawling Union complex. He watched Walker's file on a transparent screen. "Reyes is a risk," he said to his assistant. "He's close to the border, and closer to the truth." The assistant hesitated. "Should we eliminate him now?" Mar nodded slowly. "No. Let him find it. Let him open the door. Then we make sure no one else follows." He turned to the window and whispered, "One man finding the truth is manageable. A galaxy finding it, that's war." Meanwhile, Walker prepared his ship. He'd modified the engines for stealth, erased all travel logs, and set a direct course for the Forbidden Zone. Before launch, he recorded a message. "If you're seeing this, I've crossed into human space. The truth is there. I have to know." He locked the message behind 3 encryption layers. It would only send if he failed to return. As the ship's engines rumbled to life, Walker sat in the pilot's chair, gripping the controls. Everyone feared human space. Walker was going in. The stars outside Walker's viewport grew dimmer as his ship, the Obscura, approached the invisible line, the border of human space. It wasn't marked by a station or warning beacon. No lights, no gates, just an eerie change in space itself. Even the background radiation dropped. The stars beyond looked like dying embers. Lex, his ship's AI, spoke softly. "We are now 1,000 kilometers from the edge of mapped space, approaching restricted coordinates." Walker leaned forward. "Run final checks. Are the stealth protocols holding?" "Confirmed. We remain invisible to external sensors. Cloak is stable." He took a slow breath. His heart beat faster. Everyone said ships disappeared when they crossed this point. And now, here he was, moments away from doing what no one else dared. "All right," he said, gripping the controls. "Let's find out what they've been hiding." He pushed the ship forward. The moment the Obscura crossed the boundary, everything changed. First, the stars blinked. Literally blinked, like they vanished for a second and came back slightly out of place. Then came the silence. Not normal silence. A heavy, pressing kind, like sound itself had been drained from the air. No static, no hum of space. Just nothing. Lex's voice cut through. "All systems stable. No external threats detected. However, gravitational readings are irregular." Walker looked outside. The emptiness was unnerving. A few pieces of old satellites drifted by. Human-made old tech. Most were scorched, some torn apart. Nothing moved, not even micrometeors. Then in the distance he saw it. A glowing shape, faint and pale white. It hovered like a ghost against the dark. As he drew closer, the shape became clearer. Towers, domes, roads, a city. A living human city. Lex confirmed it. Matching structural design to Earth-era cities. Architecture suggests a pre-fold human colony. Lights are operational. Energy readings consistent with an active fusion grid. Walker stared in disbelief. The city looked untouched, not abandoned. There was power. Some buildings had flickering lights. Roads were clean. It was as if people had just stepped out for a moment and never returned. As the Obscura approached the city's edge, a signal pinged the ship. A message. "Welcome, Walker Reyes." Walker froze. "Lex, did you transmit my name?" "No. Internal systems are locked down. This message is originating from the city. How do they know who I am?" "Unknown." A gate at the edge of the city began to open. A soft blue light guided him in, like a landing path made just for him. Walker brought the ship in slowly and touched down on a platform marked with the Earth insignia. Fresh and clear, like it was painted yesterday. He stepped out. The air was breathable. Warm. The gravity normal. It felt too perfect. Too prepared. The streets were empty. Lights flickered on as he passed. Security drones hovered silently, scanning him, then moving on. None attacked. None stopped him. It was as if the city recognized him. Then, far behind in normal space, a stealth cruiser dropped out of warp. Black, silent and deadly. Inside, Director Silo Mar watched from a dark screen as the Obscura's trail disappeared past the boundary. He spoke calmly. "Mark his ship. Prepare infiltration teams. I want every step he takes recorded. And if he finds something dangerous," he paused, "erase it. And erase him." Back in the silent city, Walker stood in the middle of a wide plaza. A massive building loomed ahead. Its doors opened without a sound. Inside, something glowed. He stepped forward. The large doors slid open with no sound, revealing a long hallway bathed in a soft blue glow. The floor was made of smooth metal, polished like glass. Strange patterns ran along the walls, symbols Walker didn't recognize, but they pulsed gently, almost like a heartbeat. The air was still warm and breathable. Everything was clean, too clean. It was like the city had been frozen in time. Nothing decayed, nothing aged. "Lex," Walker whispered, "is there any life inside this building?" "No life signs detected. But energy readings are rising. We are being scanned." Walker reached for his sidearm but stopped. He wasn't here to fight. He was here to understand. As he moved deeper into the building, he found himself in a circular chamber filled with floating displays. A console at the center lit up as he approached. Lines of human text appeared on the main screen. "Welcome, Walker Rise. Genetic match. Accepted. Accessing archives." He blinked. "Genetic match." Lex responded quietly. "They were expecting someone like you." Images began flashing on the screen. Earth, the moon, cities glowing with lights. Then war. Collapse. Silence. Then something else. A new project. Something called the Fold. He leaned in closer. The Fold was humanity's final experiment. A way to escape the limits of space and time. It wasn't just faster than light travel. It was a leap into another dimension, beyond reality itself. A shortcut through the universe. Through something the documents called the Veil. It worked, and then everything went wrong. The data logs showed Earth's last message to the galaxy. "We succeeded, but we are not alone on the other side. Do not follow us." That was the last anyone ever heard from humans. Until now. Walker sat back. The truth hit him hard. Humanity didn't die. They moved beyond space, beyond time, into something no one understood. They left their cities behind, still running, still waiting, maybe for someone to return, maybe for someone like him. Suddenly, the lights in the room dimmed. The symbols on the walls pulsed red. Lex spoke fast. "New ship detected. Incoming." "It's Silo Mar." Walker stood quickly and grabbed the data chip from the console. He had to get out before Mar stopped him. But it was too late. Mar walked through the entrance, his coat sweeping behind him, his face calm and cold. "You shouldn't have come here," Mar said. Walker stood his ground. "You knew all this time. You knew what happened to humanity." Mar nodded. "Yes, and I know why it must stay hidden." Walker raised his voice. "The galaxy deserves to know. They didn't vanish. They evolved. They became something more. Mar stepped closer. And that's the problem. You saw only part of the truth. We don't understand what they became. We don't know what else is out there now. If this gets out, people will come. Curious people. Greedy people. And they might wake up something we can't control. Walker looked at the console behind him. They already know I'm here. A sudden hum filled the room. The lights turned white. A voice echoed through the chamber. A soft, distant voice. Human, but not. You are not ready. Yet you came. Mar froze. Walker slowly turned to face the console. You carry our blood. Walker raised. You are still small. Still, unformed. Lex whispered. That voice is not coming from this city. It's coming from somewhere else. Somewhere outside normal space. Walker's chest tightened. Is that them? The voice continued. We see you. We remember. We watch. But we do not return. Not yet. Mar stepped back, fear in his eyes for the first time. We need to leave now. The walls began to shake lightly. The energy around them felt heavier, thicker, like air made of glass. Ulger backed away, clutching the chip. I have what I need. As they rushed out of the building, the city's lights faded behind them. The gates closed silently, as if nothing had happened. Outside, the sky above shimmered faintly. Something had noticed them, and it was still watching. The moment Walker and Mar stepped out of the glowing city, the sky changed. A low hum rolled across the air. Not from any machine, but from the very space above. The stars shimmered unnaturally, bending and pulsing like they were being seen through water. A pressure built in the air, deep and strange, making Walker's ears ring. Lex spoke in a worried tone. Space-time distortion detected. Unknown source. This may be the beginning of a breach event. Walker looked up. A ripple formed in the sky, a wide circular shimmer. From the center, a beam of pale light shot down and struck the city's central tower. The ground trembled under their feet. Then came the voice. It wasn't from a speaker. It wasn't from a machine. It echoed inside their minds. You were not meant to see this, Walker gasped. Mar dropped to one knee, clutching his head. His eyes were wide with fear. It's them, he whispered. They see us. They see everything. Walker looked at the city. Lights were turning off, one by one. Doors were sealing. The city wasn't shutting down, it was hiding. Lex, what's happening? Walker asked, backing toward his ship. The city is retreating into subspace. The energy signature is vanishing. Whatever you activated, it called them. Suddenly, a shape appeared in the sky. It wasn't a ship. It wasn't a creature. It was a presence, too big to fully see, too strange to describe. Its edges moved like shadows in fog. Eyes, or something like eyes, seemed to open and close across its surface. Walker stood frozen. Then a beam of light shot toward him. He didn't run. He didn't move. There was nowhere to go. The light stopped inches from his chest. You carry the echo of what we once were. The words pressed against his thoughts like waves. But you are still broken, still bound by time. You must not come further. Walker fell to one knee, clutching his head. Visions flashed before him. Earth cities rising into the sky, humans stepping through portals into swirling dimensions, and something watching from the other side. Always watching. He collapsed. When he opened his eyes, everything was still. The city was gone. The sky had returned to normal. The hum was silent. Walker lay beside his ship, the data chip still clutched in his hand. Lex whispered, "You blacked out for 12 minutes. All anomalies have ceased. The city is gone. The presence has disappeared." Walker sat up slowly. His head ached, but the images in his mind remained. He turned and saw Mar standing nearby, pale and shaken. For once the cold director said nothing. "They're not dead," Walker said softly. "They're beyond us, and they don't want to be found." Mar nodded slowly. "Then we bury this again. We erase your logs, destroy your ship, and forget this ever happened." Walker shook his head. "No, the galaxy deserves the truth." Mar stepped forward. And if they come back? If someone else wakes them? Walker didn't answer. He just looked at the stars. One of them blinked, just for a second, like a silent reminder. He boarded the Obscura. The ship lifted off and turned back toward the border. Behind them, human space fell quiet once more. But now it wasn't just a mystery. It was a warning. Walker Reyes sat in the pilot's chair of the Obscura, silent and still. His hands trembled slightly as he gripped the controls. The ship floated just outside the boundary of human space. Behind him was the place no one dared enter, a place where something ancient and powerful had spoken to him, not with anger but with warning. He reached for the encrypted chip tucked safely inside a secured container. It held everything: the images, the voice, the truth. Humanity hadn't vanished. They had evolved, transformed, and left behind a city that still remembered. Lex, the ship's AI, broke the silence. "We are now clear of all spatial anomalies. Do you wish to transmit the recorded data?" Walker hesitated. If he sent the data, the galaxy would finally know the truth. But with that truth came danger. Curiosity, fear, greed. Others would come, and they might not be as careful. He closed his eyes and whispered, "Only part of it," confirmed. Filtering sensitive visuals. Transmitting secure message to border colonies and independent networks. The message was simple. A short video, no longer than 1 minute. It showed a clean, glowing city, with working lights and open gates. Then a single line of text appeared. "They're not gone, just changed. Do not follow. Respect the silence." Walker encrypted the rest of the data and locked it away in a hidden backup vault only he could access. Far across the galaxy, the transmission caused ripples. Small stations picked it up. Smugglers passed it along. Explorers whispered. And on every major star map, cartographers were forced to face the truth. Human space was not empty. On the new galactic charts, a new marker appeared. Observed zone, no entry, let sleeping gods lie. In a quiet chamber deep within the Galactic Intelligence Bureau, Director Silo Mar watched the update appear on a massive screen. He didn't speak. He didn't try to stop it. He just stared at the blinking zone with tired eyes. Maybe, he thought, this was better. Maybe a little fear would keep the galaxy safe. Back aboard the Obscura, Walker watched the stars move as his ship drifted away. He didn't set a course, not yet. He wasn't running from what he'd seen, but he wasn't ready to share all of it either. He opened a blank log and began to type. "They spoke to me, not in words, but in something deeper. They knew me, knew my blood. They watched me like I was a child picking up a match in a room full of fire. I don't think they're evil, but they're not like us anymore. They're something else, something we're not ready to meet." He closed the log and saved it. Then slowly, a smile tugged at the corner of his mouth. There was still more to discover. Not in human space, maybe not for now, but somewhere else. The galaxy was vast, and not all mysteries had to be locked away. He turned to Lex. "Plot a new course. Random sector, no borders, no rules. Let's go find something less forbidden." Acknowledged. Course set. Ready for jump. The stars outside shifted. The engines powered up, and with a hum, the Obscura vanished into the black. Behind it, human space remained silent, watching, waiting, dreaming.